Only a handful of artists in the world could create music that lasted a lifetime, and Gordon Lightfoot was one of those rare talents. He was a Canadian singer-songwriter whose music effortlessly blended folk and country, captivating people for over 6 decades. His songs were more than just hits. They were poetic tales that touched your heart. But have you ever wondered how he managed to maintain his musical magic for so long? What were the stories behind his timeless songs? And what made his melodies resonate with people across the globe? Today, we'll explore the unforgettable legacy of Gordon Lightfoot, where his simple yet brilliant music left an everlasting mark on the world. Let's begin. Gordon Lightfoot was born in Orillia, Ontario on November 17, 1938. Music ran in his blood from a young age thanks to his supportive parents, Jessica and Gordon Lightfoot Sr. As a boy soprano in Orillia, he wowed local audiences with his angelic voice, performing on the radio, at weddings, and even in Kiwanis music festivals. At just 13 years old, he took the stage at Massey Hall, a venue that would later witness many of his remarkable successes. In 1952, he clinched the top spot in the Soprano Unchanged Voices category at the Kiwanis Festival. Now, despite his budding music career, young Gordon also worked at his father's dry cleaning plant during high school. He was a multi-talented teenager, excelling in track and field, football, piano, drums, and even singing in a barbershop quartet called the Collegiate Four. In 1954, the Collegiate Four achieved first place in a CBC TV talent competition called Pick the Stars, catapulting Lightfoot further into the spotlight. At the age of 14, Gordon Lightfoot embarked on a journey to Los Angeles in 1957, where he studied jazz orchestration at the Westlake College of Music. His time in LA saw him writing and arranging commercial jingles to make a living. Upon his return to Canada, Lightfoot took on various jobs, including working as a bank teller and driving a truck for 14 months. From 1959 to 1961, he made appearances on CBC TV's Country Hoedown with groups like the Singin' Swingin' Eight and the Gina Sylvie Singers. During this period, Lightfoot started to explore folk songs and guitar playing in Toronto. In 1962, he released 2 singles, Remember Me, I'm the One, and Negotiations, It's Too Late, both receiving significant airplay in Canada. Teaming up with Teen Timers member Terry Whalen, they performed as the Two Tones in coffee houses across southern Ontario. In 1963, Lightfoot crossed the Atlantic to host the BBC TV's Country and Western show for a season in Europe. Returning to Canada, he continued to captivate audiences in coffee houses and bars throughout Ontario, Quebec, and the eastern United States. Although he gained recognition in the U.S., he was primarily known as a songwriter there. In 1965, Lightfoot scored a Canadian hit with his single, I'm Not Sayin'. Meanwhile, the American country artist Leroy Van Dyke covered it, making it a hit in the U.S. His next single, Ribbon of Darkness, found success as a #1 country hit in the U.S. in 1965, thanks to Marty Robbins. Lightfoot's songs found their way to new audiences in the mid-1960s through recordings by artists like Harry Belafonte, Judy Collins, George Hamilton IV, Richie Havens, and the Kingston Trio. In 1966, something incredible happened in the world of music. Gordon made his debut album, Lightfoot. The album received heaps of praise and became a commercial hit. But what makes this even more remarkable is that Lightfoot achieved international fame without ever leaving his beloved Canada. That's a rare feat for any musician. Around the same time, Gordon embarked on his first cross-Canada tour, taking his music to audiences from coast to coast. He was quickly becoming a folk music sensation, and his talent was undeniable. As the late 1960s rolled in, Lightfoot continued to make waves in the music industry. He released 3 more albums in quick succession. Did She Mention My Name in 1968, Back Here on Earth, also in 1968, and his first live album, Sunday Concert, recorded at the iconic Massey Hall in 1969. By the end of the decade, he had been voted Top Folk Singer of the Year 4 times in RPM's annual reader polls for 1965, 1966, 1968, and 1969. Lightfoot's star was undeniably on the rise. The 1970s brought even greater recognition for Gordon Lightfoot. In 1970, he was honored as an Officer of the Order of Canada in recognition of his significant contributions to music. The following year, in 1971, Lightfoot made history with his international sensational hit, If You Could Read My Mind. This song soared to the top of the RPM Top Singles chart in Canada and reached number 5 on the prestigious Billboard Hot 100 chart in the United States. It even earned a Grammy Award nomination for Best Pop Performance Male in 1971. Lightfoot's music was now making waves around the world, and it didn't stop there. The 1970s continued to be a remarkable decade for Lightfoot, with chart-topping albums and hits. His album Sit Down, Young Stranger from 1970, which included If You Could Read My Mind, was renamed after the success of the title track. It reached number 12 on the Billboard 200 chart and became gold certified in the US by 1972. But just when it seemed like nothing could stop Gordon Lightfoot's meteoric rise, a setback occurred. While performing at Massey Hall in March of 1972, Lightfoot suffered an attack of Bell's palsy, which partially paralyzed his face. Despite this challenge, he didn't give up. After taking some time to recover, he made a triumphant return in 1973, winning Juno Awards for Male Vocalist of the Year and Composer of the Year. In 1974, his album Old Dan's Records even won the title of Folk Album of the Year. But the pinnacle of Lightfoot's career in the 1970s came with Sundown, his 10th album. Released in 1974, it not only reached number 1 on both the Billboard 200 chart and the RPM 100 chart, but also featured the hit single Sundown. As the 1970s drew to a close, Gordon Lightfoot continued his musical journey, releasing his 9th album, Endless Wire, in 1978. The 1980s and 1990s saw Lightfoot's music evolve as he experimented with different sounds. His new songs played less frequently on the radio, and his sales declined. Albums like Shadow, 1982, Salute, 1983, and East of Midnight, 1986, featured a more adult contemporary sound, with increased use of synthesizers and organs. Yet, despite the changing musical landscape, Lightfoot's influence in the industry remained strong. During the 1980s, Lightfoot even ventured into acting, appearing in the film Harry Tracy, The Last of the Wild Bunch in 1983, and making an appearance on the ABC melodrama Hotel in 1988. In 1993, Gordon Lightfoot returned to his acoustic roots with the self-produced album Waiting for You. 5 years later, in 1998, he released A Painter Passing Through, which included contributions from Daniel Lanois on guitar. In recognition of his immense contributions to Canadian music, Lightfoot was inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame in 1998. The turn of the century brought a special treat for Lightfoot's fans with the release of Songbook in 1999. This 4-CD set featured material from throughout his career, including 16 previously unreleased songs. In the early 2000s, Gordon Lightfoot's journey through the world of music took a fascinating turn. By January of 2002, he had already penned an impressive 30 new songs and was gearing up to record his 20th studio album, Harmony. His creative energy was in full swing. But there was another milestone in 2002 that would test Lightfoot's resilience. In September of that year, he faced a near-fatal abdominal aneurysm that left him in a coma for an astonishing 6 weeks. It was a critical moment in his life, and the road to recovery was long and challenging. The following year, in 2003, Lightfoot received a well-deserved promotion within the Order of Canada to Companion. Harmony, the album he had been working on before his health setback, eventually saw the light of day in 2004. It was a triumphant return for Lightfoot, and his music continued to resonate with audiences. In 2006, Lightfoot faced another challenge when he suffered a stroke while performing on stage. However, true to his resilient spirit, he was back on tour within a year. His dedication to his craft and his fans was unwavering. Now imagine the surprise in February of 2010 when Gordon Lightfoot became the subject of a strange rumor. A journalist reported on social media that Lightfoot had passed away. While driving home, Lightfoot himself heard the reports of his death on the radio and immediately phoned the station to confirm that he was indeed very much alive. It was a bizarre twist in his long and storied career. In November of 2012, Lightfoot took the stage once again to perform Canadian Railroad Trilogy at the 100th Grey Cup in Toronto, showcasing his enduring musical legacy. his career continued to evolve, and he remained active in the music scene. Despite his age, Lightfoot continued to tour extensively. In 2015 alone, he performed an impressive 67 shows throughout North America. The man's dedication to his craft was simply remarkable. On November 18, 2016, something special happened. Gordon Lightfoot released his first song in 12 years, the single Plans of My Own. This was a significant moment for his fans, and it showcased that his creative well was far from dry. The year 2020 brought yet another gift for his fans. Lightfoot released Solo, an album featuring some of his unreleased studio recordings. Despite the passage of time, Gordon Lightfoot's music continued to captivate and inspire. Now, let's dive into what makes Lightfoot's music so unique. His songs are characterized by his rich, resonant baritone voice, which adds depth and emotion to his lyrics. His songwriting often delves into dark, unsentimental romanticism and is punctuated by vivid, almost painterly use of natural imagery. His music is a true reflection of the Canadian landscape and the human experience. Critics have praised Lightfoot's ability to convey emotions in his music. He has been described as a romantic and a lyrical storyteller. His songs are known for their ability to evoke strong feelings, from joy to sorrow, and his singing style is often described as crooning. It's a style that allows the lyrics to shine, and it's what makes his music so memorable. Gordon Lightfoot's personal life has also played a significant role in his music. He has been married multiple times, and his relationships have been a wellspring of inspiration for many of his songs. If You Could Read My Mind, for example, was born out of a period of separation during his first marriage. His songs are deeply personal, reflecting his own experiences and emotions. Despite the challenges he faced in his personal life and health, Lightfoot's contribution to the music industry was consistently recognized and celebrated. To commemorate his legacy, his hometown of Orillia unveiled a magnificent 4-meter-tall bronze sculpture called Golden Leaves, a tribute to Gordon Lightfoot, in 2015. The sculpture captures Lightfoot sitting cross-legged, playing his acoustic guitar beneath an arch of golden maple leaves. Gordon Lightfoot's journey through music has been one of resilience, creativity, and unwavering dedication. His songs have touched the hearts of countless listeners, and his impact on the Canadian music scene is immeasurable. If you enjoyed this musical journey through Gordon Lightfoot's life, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more engaging content about music history.